Hey, we're out here in South Fork, PA at the Path of the Flood Trail. My name is Josh Marichko. I'm a graduate student at IUP. I work at IMAPS. Well, my undergraduate degree is in geology, so I'm going to be looking at some of the subsurface features I see and like around where the stream is cutting through the landscape, and I'm going to look for some abandoned mine drainage since there's a lot of coal mining going on around this area of central PA.
Sounds good. Yeah, look at this, guys. We've got a really interesting hike. Won't be a super long one. We've already actually been here before once. I want to get a snowy hillside right there. I could probably, you know, the funny thing is I could fly my drone up to that if I really wanted to this time, because we got clearances with the airport. I'm a Part 107 pilot. But just wanted to walk around here and kind of look. So this is a bog. This is where we've actually done some frog walks with the nonprofit PA Woods and Forests. Look at all that sphagnum moss. That's a good indicator. If we were digging around in here enough, it's possible we would find a carnivorous plant called the sundew. Believe it or not, Pennsylvania has 2 different species that are native and one that was believed to be introduced. And we also have the purple pitcher plant and a couple other more aquatic carnivorous plants. But you can see in here, you've got the pond, and then you've got this little field area. Looks like it's starting to take over where this bog was. You can see some of the grass and different things are encroaching. So a really interesting place, very acidic water. Trust me on that one. But yeah, let's pull up something else here real quick while I got the camera on. Let me find the elevation app so we can talk about that for a second too. Let's pull that up. It's called My Altitude. Shout out to these guys. So let me just make sure it's on. There we go. Okay, 1492. That's our elevation right now. You can see where we're at. So just really cool stuff. Solid 50 degrees. Can't really see that too much with the reflection. That looks better. So sunny, 50 degrees, 57 for humidity, feels like 45. 18 mile per hour wind speed. And that might be of interest because we're flying the drone out here. I got my Mini 3. If you watched the latest CCH podcast episode where we had Zach Hollingshad and Josh and the other Josh all on the same episode, you would know had a slight accident, and my dear DJI Mini 2 is no longer with us. But as I turn the camera around here, look at that. A frozen pond, ladies and gentlemen. You see the ice on top of it. I mean, this is what the wintertime provides. Some really stunning scenes. Again, you can see the sphagnum moss all around it. Of course, we'll be awaiting my favorite time of the year with springtime arriving next, since we're in the winter now. Can't wait to see the frogs come out here. But really unique place. You can see we're in more of a valley right here. And as we would go further, you guys have seen from the last episode we were here, it was more so, from my understanding, we showed you the other side more. We didn't really show this side. So yeah, we're just gonna show off a little bit of this side as a connecting episode or a part 2 to that. We haven't been here in 2 years for a hiking episode, so it'd be nice to show that off. Here we go. We'll walk in here for a second here, get a better up close scene of the sphagnum moss. And yes, there are frogs that are under the water here probably. If not, they're in the deeper part where the pond is. But you can see the sphagnum moss. I think there's a puffball. Where is that? There it is. I think this is a puffball, but I'm not 100% on that. Okay. But you can see all the trees that they're trying to plant.
They're trying to build up their riparian zone along the stream, I think, to keep it from, they're trying to get it re-vegetated, I think, right?
I think so, yeah. You can see even over there, out in the distance, they're doing it. There used to be a lot of bony piles out here, Josh.
Oh yeah?
They moved a lot of that stuff out of here. Good, yeah. Good spot to stop. just kind of look around here for a minute. So you can see everything here. I don't think we've ever done that, where we just stopped and literally showed the trail. Can't really see the river too much. See that beautiful train out over there? You can hear it. Looks like it's coming out pretty nice. But, and you can see the hillsides. So there's a pretty big difference between the hillside there that's bare. You can see the dead grass from here and the debris. And you look to the right of that and you see the hillsides with the trees. So a lot going on out here. Very active habitat, very active just area overall, but really neat place, really interesting place.
An acid mine drainage is formed when pyrite is exposed during the mining process, and then when that is exposed to air, it creates all the iron precipitates out of it, and it flows into the streams and rivers, and that pollutes all the water and makes the water quality go down.
Yeah.
And it raises the acidity of the water.
All right, so you could have it facing me, or you can have it facing the background there. You can show the drone for a second, how Josh and I, it's like we're on a TV show. Look at that, we got the drone following us.
That's right.
Look at that, the beautiful river in the background. Well, even though it's a little polluted, you know, beautiful river.
Not bad. Just has some residual drainage on the sides of the stream. It seems like mostly. It seems like the central part of where the main flow is just pretty good water quality, it appears.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got that. So yeah. So keep it on me. Turn it on me here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm turning the drone to face us. It's ×2 camera. So yeah. So wave to the camera for a second. ×2. Let me zoom out here. Yeah, this has been an interesting trip. I'm going to change our direction to try to get the mountain in the background. Sort of. What do you think about it all, Josh?
It's a nice flat trail, good for biking or anything like that, or you know.
Oh, there's a lot of biking and hiking here.
A lot of biking and hiking.
You see the leaf litter along the hillside there. That's very important for a lot of animals. When we think of frogs and salamanders, a lot of the woodland critters that inhabit these trails, even the snakes, even the invertebrates, they all really need these types of habitats, that leaf litter in the forest.
Oh, I'll cover the river now.
Yeah. So turn the camera on me real quick. This trail is gonna really change. I'm excited to see, Josh, what you think. I'm gonna take you to the outskirts where this trail starts to become a woodland. And I personally think it's beautiful both. You have that, we're heading towards the intermediary spot where the fields and the woodland are gonna combine. You know, they're gonna meet. And we have this intermediary section where you can find animals from both. So you'd find woodland salamanders from the forested part, and you'd also find pond frogs and other species that like it more flat and more open. American toads appear to always be out here. I'm not saying they're not in the forest, but like this would be a spot you'd find wood frogs, American toads, slimy salamanders, garter snakes, and we've seen all of them on this trail. But Yeah, you can see, I mean, what do you think, Josh? You can kind of see the tree line there, and it starts to open up. Or, I'm sorry, it starts to close off. Where we're at, it's open, and as we go further, it closes off and starts to get more like hilly and more like unique terrain.
That's right. I think we're coming into some interesting areas. I think coming up here, we might see some geological structures, or we might see some cool subsurface features that we might be able to point out and explain. We'll have to see what's come out.
Just say that one more time. So what are we looking at here with those rocks that are in the ground right there that are kind of sticking out?
It looks like someone built a temporary wall structure there. I don't think that's not a natural formation. That's somebody constructed that into the hillside here for a purpose that I'm not sure what it is, but could have been related to some mining activity or anything around here. I'm not sure, or for an old foundation even.
Yeah, you think could have been put in place to try to hold the hillside in place?
To hold the hillside, that's a good explanation. I think that could be.
All right, Josh, is that coal right there?
That's old remaining coal slag from when they were mining this area.
All right, kids, so if you're bad and you're on the naughty list, this is where Santa Claus comes. This is one of the spots he picks out the coal to give to you for Christmas if you've been naughty. Right, Josh?
Right.
So you got to make sure that you're behaving, or else you'll see Santa Claus and his elves out here getting the coal ready. It looks like there's a structure back there. What is that? Maybe an abandoned
old wooden shack. Looks like it fell apart.
Yeah. Oh, look at the whole hillside. The whole hillside is coal. I never noticed that before. You can see it. It's sticking out.
Yeah.
The whole hillside. Wow, Santa Claus has a lot to choose from here. Isn't that interesting that those ferns are able to survive with that coal? Like, you know, they're growing right in it.
I mean, there isn't any soil on that hillside. It's all just leaves on top of the coal.
It just shows you the hardiness of these ferns.
Slag piles.
Not always a bad thing, if you think about it. And then right here at the foot of all of this, you see moss growing. Now, when water is running down, and you know, you have that saturated ground in the spring, Josh, what do you think is going on here? How do you think that's impacting the water quality whenever we look at the moss and the ferns right next to the bony piles here? I mean, you can see the moss is actually starting to overtake the coal. I'll show you. Yeah. How about that? That's pretty cool.
It is.
Huh, pun intended. That's pretty neat to see how it's starting to take over. I'm sure there's probably animals too that are burrowed in it.
But I think water quality is definitely impacted when we have a lot of moisture, a lot of rain in the spring, and when the snow melts. I think when we see it wash down into the major river right down below us here, I think it might have a big impact on the water quality, especially on the outskirts of the river like we see now, where it's just tainted orange a little bit from the iron.
So do you think that this coal pile here, this whole, I guess, coal hillside, you think once that runs down in the spring, whenever the water is taking pieces of it with it, do you think that's impacting the water quality where these frogs are hanging out in these artificial or little seepage areas along the edge?
I think it could. I think the major acidity is coming from the openings, coming from the abandoned mine shafts, abandoned mines, wherever the openings are. But I think a lot of the contaminants might have already leached out, but there still could be some contaminants in it for sure in the springtime.
Yeah.
When we have excess moisture.
What do you think would be a typical pH whenever you have coal just seeping right into water like this? I mean, look, there's water literally still here. So, and I mean, there's plants growing. Like, this is a native rush. I think that's bulrush right in front of us. And I'm growing that too. But just, I don't know. I'm surprised to see how much plant life is growing alongside all of this coal.
I mean, I worked at the Conservation District this summer. I had an internship there, and we went out and did some pH testing of some coal seepage into the local streams in Indiana County. And we found some places where the acidity was close to like lower than 3 in some cases, where it's really concentrated.
Makes sense.
Like 6 is pretty consistent across all the places we tested in Indiana County. Like a 6 or 7 pH, like after it, when it's coming out, like that's not too bad.
Went from the opening, now we are literally, this is the mouth of the forest where it starts to go in and you start to see that forest ecosystem really take place. But yeah, we'll hit the next side another time, maybe in the spring or something, or maybe later winter. But yeah, we're gonna head back towards the car. We're gonna do some time-lapse mode, and then we're gonna fly the drone for the last like life that it has till I get another battery. Yeah, so we're gonna pull that off, but we will catch up with you guys when we get back to the cars. Well guys, we're back to the car. So Josh, first solo hike, what was your expectations? Were they met? You know, what all did you have the chance to see whenever we went out hiking today?
I had a good experience. I think I saw a lot of interesting things. We saw the cool slag pouch, we saw a nice trail going through the woods, we saw a mix of different vegetation types, and we see the abandoned mine drainage going through this area. So I think we get a nice perspective of the past history of this area. And then we also see what they've done to make this trail nice through the area and what they've been able to do with that. And that's pretty much my experience. I just think it's a nice way to kick off the end of the year for this hiking show.
Yeah, you looking forward to the next hike coming up?
I am. I think we should find a good place, maybe with some more geology, and I could talk about that, or we could look, you know, something related to the subsurface features.
Maybe even go back and look at past places that we've already been, and bring Mr. Geologist out here, so that way we could understand even more of the habitat other than just some of the biological features and some of the history that Ben has shared. So yeah, going over it might be worth it. So you might see some part twos to things that we've done before, just so that way we bring Josh in and we can tell you even more about the property.
Right. I can tie the subsurface geology features in with the topography and the surface related habitats and everything. Could like try to interconnect them and talk both about them in the same episode.
That's what I think. So don't forget to watch part 1 of this whenever we took Cliff, the Conservation Recreation Authority Executive Director, out here. He showed us around, and mostly with the woodland side of things. And today we did the connector. We did more of the open field type of the habitat. All of this is the same Path of the Flood hiking trail. But don't forget to watch part 1, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. We'll see you guys in the next All Seasons episode. Thanks.